Hello there. And of course, the wind picks up as soon as I go live. But this is the Geeknd Live, and it's the Geeknd Live in the field, live from the field. Let me tell you about this field in a moment. But first of all, we're going to talk the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 4, The Gathering Storm. And it feels like there is a gathering storm here where I am at the moment. Look at the state of my hair. So, right, I'm going to sort this out. So, I thought it would be a good idea to do this stream live from where I am in, I'm visiting. I'm on the road at the moment. So some of you might know that I've been basing myself in Mexico City, and I'm doing a little bit of travel at the moment, a little bit of vacationing, although some people would say I've been vacationing for the last 5 months. That's not true. But I'm here currently in the city of Mazatlan in the state of Sinaloa. And I just climbed this hill here, which you can see behind me, which leads to the second, yes, that's right, the second highest lighthouse in North America. And I was going to do the stream from up there, but I climbed it a lot quicker than expected and got bored. So I'm now pretty much at the bottom. So there's the sea, the Pacific Ocean, and there is the city of Mazatlan in the background. So anyway, that's where I am. Hopefully that explains what I'm doing. Probably not the best idea to have done the stream here, but I just thought let's mix things up a little bit. How many other Boba Fett live stream reviews have you seen on the road live from the field? And not just any old field, but a field that leads to the second highest lighthouse in North America. So anyway, I'm Jamie. You're probably not watching anymore. You've probably given up by now. We are going to talk about the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 4 for the next, 15 minutes or so, because I'm noticing this is killing my battery. Obnunga was here, but then disappeared because has not seen Chapter 4 yet. Glenn the Geeky Hippie, or Glenn M, as we will now refer to him as, is also here. Jones Capone, David as well, aka Jones Capone. Good to see you all there. Glenn, I know you sent me a tweet. I haven't looked at it yet, but I will. Jane Flakes as well. Clays, Peter, hello to all of you. I hope you're doing well. So let's talk Chapter 4. Also, I haven't had a comment in a while. Hopefully this is working. Let me know. Is it working? Technology often doesn't work. So talking about the Book of Boba Fett, assuming this is working, I've enjoyed this series so far. I've given moderately positive reviews, if you like, to each of the chapters before this one. I've overall quite enjoyed the series. I do find Boba's extremely pearly whites a little bit distracting, more distracting than his apparent good behavior. But apart from that, it's been a fairly solid season so far, or series so far. We don't know if it's going to have more seasons. I don't think it's at the level of Mando so far. I think it's quite far from that. But I do respect that despite some similarities to the aforementioned, it is doing its own thing to a certain extent. And this episode was probably the first one that genuinely left me at the end intrigued and a little bit excited for the next one. So this was a very strong episode in my opinion, and I thought the flashbacks were great in this one. I mean, overall, I've been happy with the flashbacks, but I thought these were great. You know, almost bringing us up to date. I suppose the Mandalorian fills in the gaps to a certain extent. So, we know how Boba arrives to find Mando to get his armor back and then joins Mando's crew temporarily. But actually, Jane Flakes raised a good question. How did Boba know that Mando had the armor? So we know the Jawas took the armor from Boba, right? Hope the sound's okay. It's getting pretty windy. And of course, it was not windy before I went live. Of course. We know the Jawas got hold of the armor from his person. But we know Timothy Oliphant's character, the Marshal, then got hold of the armor. We know Mando got hold of the armor off Oliphant, the Marshal. But we don't really know how Boba found this out, do we? And how he tracked Mando. So Jane Flakes raised this question. Will this be explained? Will this be another flashback? Because I assumed this was the end of the flashbacks. I thought it tied it up quite nicely. We can fill in the gaps ourselves with what happened with Mando. But then Jane raised this question, so I'm wondering now, is there going to be more flashbacks? Although he's done with the Bacta tank, does he only dream in a Bacta tank? I don't know. Does he dream in a normal bed? Does Boba Fett sleep in a normal bed? Seeing as he wears boxer shorts, boxer briefs, and a dressing gown, I'm assuming he probably does. Seems pretty mundane in his domestic setting of Jabba's palace. Speaking of which, I love the Jabba's palace flashbacks. Really great fun. Nice to see different parts of the palace as well. Felt like a sort of Star Wars MTV Cribs episode. It was borderline overly slapstick at times, but I did enjoy the General Grievous gag and also that kind of weird rabbit droid as well, with Boba chasing him. Again, whoa, this wind. This is where I mostly get blinded by hair. That's the only reason I'm wearing the sunglasses. It's not because it's particularly sunny, because it's not sunny. I'm wearing the sunglasses to protect my eyes from the hair so I can see. So yeah, I enjoyed the flashbacks overall in this episode, and particularly Jabba's palace. That was really cool. I have to say as well, R.I.P. Gonk Droid. There was a Gonk Droid that did get destroyed, murdered in that flashback scene. I also thought it was a great episode for Fennec Shand. You know, some good action. Yeah, I warmed to her character a lot more in this episode. I thought she was pretty ungrateful initially with Boba, who had just saved her life. But clearly, when it sunk in what she had done, she felt like she had a bit more of a debt to pay to him than just helping him get the ship back out of the palace. So, yeah, I really enjoyed getting a bit of background on those two and how they came to be a duo, a partnership, and also bond as well. They kind of bonded as the episode went on, which kind of makes sense because, you know, when we've seen them in real time in this episode, there's been some, you know, little quirks, little asides made, little comments made to each other, a bit of bants, as we say in the UK, a bit of banter. The Sarlacc scene also in the flashback, that was cool. But I mean, I listened to Chad. I don't know if Chad, the Stopwatch Campbell's here, but I listened to his podcast and he said something I was thinking, what was Boba doing? That was ridiculous. That was a stupid thing to do. But it made for a cool scene within that flashback, nevertheless. So well done, Boba, for doing that stupid thing purely for our entertainment. And we actually got some good, I thought some good or better depth anyway to Boba's apparent character change, you know. As he said, something along the lines, I'm paraphrasing here, that he's seen what, you know, going around, doing his jobs, killing people off. He's seen where that gets you, you know. And then he says something about you can only get so far without a tribe. And yeah, that kind of makes sense, considering we've seen his experience with the Tusken Raiders, who he called Sand People, didn't he, in this episode? I thought we're not allowed to say Sand People anymore. What's all that about? Are Sand People back in the Star Wars vocab dictionary? I don't know. But anyway, I like that, and it kind of, I know there's a lot of complaints out there about his apparent character change, and he's not the Boba that you remember, but I hope this explains more why he is a different character, and I'm okay with it, to be honest. I was never the biggest Boba Fett fan in the first place, so it's not a big deal for me, and for me, it also makes sense. So, yeah, let's see what you guys are saying. If I said everything on my notes, I have said everything on my notes, I think. Can't really see it, they're flapping around in the wind. But let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. I can see Peter thought it was a filler episode. Clays has confirmed that this stream is working, so that's good. Not many of you here though, so I think this is probably too distracting. My hair waving around like this, and probably the sound as well. So we'll never do this again, don't worry. But hopefully you're enjoying the view, those who are still here. I don't mean the view of me. Excuse me. Also, Peter added that it was a slow and somewhat boring episode for him. James Lakes is enjoying the view, at least, here in Mazatlan, Sinaloa, Mexico. And Gaz Nottingham is here as well, and he says, I think we might see him track down his armor next. Really enjoying his show. Yeah, I think you're probably right. You know, Jane raised that question. I think you're right there, Gaz. I did believe it was the end of the... my hair. My hair. You should have seen me at the top of this hill. Yeah. Tried to do a selfie and just ended up looking like a Wookiee. Yeah, I think we are going to get another flashback then. So clearly he either needs to go back into the Bacta tank, maybe he gets injured again and has another dream, or he just dreams anywhere, wherever he sleeps, wherever he lays his head. So, yeah, I think you're right there. And I think that would make sense for us to see him get that armor back, because obviously it's a pretty big deal for him. And clearly we're going to see Mando, aren't we? Because they played the theme. They played our little stings of the theme. So even though I said I'm quite enjoying it, for me, this is fairly separated from The Mandalorian. I thought it was going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot more crossover and similarities, but clearly that's going to change now. They're literally going to cross paths by the sounds of it. I would probably prefer them to keep separated, but at the same time, I think it could be quite cool to see. I don't know, maybe it can throw us a carrot in terms of where Mandalorian season 3 is going. Maybe Mando will come and help, and then has to go off onto his next adventure, perhaps to Mandalore, and then we know exactly where we're going next with season 3. Maybe Mando can't come and help. I think Chad might have said this in his podcast. Maybe Mando can't come and help, and we see just him in a hologram message communication, saying, "Sorry, I'm on my way to Mandalore to do something." So yeah, I've got stuff to do. I'm too busy for this bobber. So yeah, let's see how that happens. I'm not against that. Jane Flakes, love this episode even more than the last one. Get your scores in, by the way. We're going to wrap up soon because my battery is really close to going, and without the phone where I am at the moment, it's pretty remote. I will be Jamie Man, no way home, and we don't want to see that, or maybe you do. So Jane Flakes also said the hints of Mando really made me miss Mando and Grogu. Yeah, it did. The familiarity in a way of just hearing that music, it was really nice. It was really nice. Clays loved the episode. That's good to hear. Gaz says Fennec was badass. Extra game points for their headshots. And Glenn also says he wears sunglasses for the same purpose sometimes too, i.e. Protecting your vision from hair, not sun. Jane Flakes is giving it a 9.5 out of 10. That's 12, sorry, for Jane. Yes, she always has to be awkward. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I thought this was a really good episode. And like I said before, it's got me genuinely intrigued for the first time and excited about where we're going next. So that's what I'm giving it. 4 out of 10. We know Peter's not happy with this episode. 4 out of 10 from Peter. He felt it was more of a filler episode, a little bit boring for him. 9 out of 10 for Clays. That's out of 10. Keeping it classic there with the scoring system. And yeah, I am also going to, I think I can do this on the phone. Hang on. I'm going to play this clip courtesy of Dave Milano, because for me, this was fetch yeah. I think that actually worked. Apart from the fact that this is probably really distracting for you, and the sound's probably not great, and it's killing my phone battery. And this works really well, actually, in terms of the technical side of it. I can have as much control seeing the comments and playing the video clips as I can on my laptop at home. So, everybody, excuse me, 7.5 out of 10 from Glenn, 8.8 out of, I assume, 10 from Gaz Nottingham for episode 4. He gave episode 1 8.5, 2 8.6, 3 8.7, 4 8.8. So we're assuming that the next episode will be an 8.9. 7 out of 10 from Power Droid Girl, a progression episode. Yeah, that's fair. Progression episode. You could call it filler like Peter, but I agree. Progression episode's fair, and I like that. I feel like we've got some strong direction now as to where it's going. Yeah, I'm looking like the Wookiee in the old days, my old days, where I was definitely more human than, definitely more Wookiee than human. Thanks, Jane. Glad you've enjoyed seeing some live on location streaming. And the Sarge is in the house, giving it a 10, I think. 10 huts. 10 huts out of 10. Are you giving it 10 huts out of 10? Hope you're doing well, Sarge. And the clip worked perfectly, Clay says. So I'm going to have to cough again. Sorry. I still have a little bit of, I don't have COVID, I'm negative, but I still have a little bit of illness in me. But I should say that 2 weeks ago or so, I couldn't even climb out of bed. And I just climbed before talking to you. The second highest lighthouse in North America. So recovery, getting there. He's back. All right, everybody. I'm sorry that this was a little bit different to normal. I won't do this again. Don't worry. But yeah, anyway, I hope you're all doing well. And we will speak soon. Okay, so if you're watching in the future, don't forget to leave a comment and let me know what you thought of the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 4. And I hope you have a great rest of this week. And we'll talk next week, all right? So goodbye from Mazatlan, Sinaloa, here in Mexico, where I just climbed to the top of the second highest lighthouse in North America. Get me. All right, everybody, see you soon. Start waving. Oh, and go off and make bantha babies. That was something from this chapter, right? That's it, everyone. Go off and make some bantha babies. Do it for me. I can't wave because my hands are full, so wave for me, all right? I'll sort of wave the microphone. Bye, everybody. I'm clicking end.